So welcome back to this video where I'm going to be demonstrating another example of the void function. And in this case, I'm going to make use of a program. Let me put a comment here. Basically, what is this program doing? This program basically checks if a number entered through the keyboard is even or odd. Basically, if it's even or an odd number. So let me close this. So I think we all remember that this is what we call a multi-line comment. So I'll start my program. So I'm going to first write it in a way, in a sequential way, without functions, and then after I'll use a function. And in this case, I'll use a void function. So I have int main. So before I define the main function, anyway, let me first do the traditional way, where basically we declare a number of the integer type, and then we are going to allow a user to enter a number enter any number, and then the scanf function is going to accept that integer value %d, because we are working with integers. Then we are putting this in the address of number. Maybe it may confuse us a bit, this number and here, so I prefer that we use capital letters, enter any number, so that we differentiate between this variable number and then this statement that is just being output to the user. So we terminate that, and if we want to find out if a number that has been entered is an even number or not, of course we are going to use an if statement. If the number, so we can only find out if a number is even or odd if it's divisible by 2, meaning that divisible by 2 and then we get a remainder of 0. So divisible, we make use of the modulo operator, number %2, meaning that when you divide a number by 2 and then you get a remainder 0, then of course that number is odd, even. So if that happens, then we should be able to print that the number is even. So either the number is even or it is odd. So else, so I may just copy this to save on time. Number is odd. And then finally, we put our return 0 to complete our program. So I'm going to compile this. Of course, I have to save it. So let me save it as even odd program. Oh, it already exists. So let me just add maybe a 2. Okay. So I'll compile and I'm going to run. So if I enter 40, which is an even number, I get number is even. If I run it again, test it again, compile and run. Let me enter an odd number like 2,201. So it tells me the number is odd, meaning that the program is working perfectly. So let me convert this particular program to another program which is actually doing the same thing, but now it's going to make use of functions. And in this case, void functions, because it's going to return a statement like this. So I'm going to open up another program, and then I can copy these first statements because they are going to be the same. I can copy these until there so that I don't have to retype them. So I'm going to put this function before the main function. So this function is going to be of the void type. And then I'm naming it something like check. Let me just call it check number. Check number. So we're checking a number if it's even or odd. So I can just say check number. And then it's going to accept one integer value. And I can say int, let me just call it int num. Int num, and then I enter, defining the function now. Basically, what do I want this function to do? I want this function to check a number. If this number is entered, if the number that is basically passed to the function, if this number is divisible by 2, and then we get the remainder 0, then basically we should be able to do the same thing that we're doing there. We should be able to print number is even. So that means that if a number is passed, this statement, number is even, is going to be output. Else, either a number is even or it is odd. So number is odd, else number is odd. So this is basically the function that I need. It's void because it's just returning a statement. It will return either number is even or number is odd, depending on the value that has been passed. So let me go to my main function. And now in the main function, I'm going to basically declare the variable that we had declared before, number. And then I'm going to inform the user to enter a value. I inform them by saying enter any number. And then the scanf function to accept that number that is coming from the keyboard, %d, and then we are putting it in the reserved space address of this number. So after that, after accepting that number, then I'm going to call this function, check number. Remember, if you are calling a void function, don't declare another variable to actually store the function called. You call it directly here because it's going to return a print statement, or it's going to return what we call a string. So what am I passing? I'm passing the number. basically the number that we want to check. And then of course I'll have the return 0. Finally, I have to close that. So basically, how does this program work? We're going to enter a number here, and this number, we are passing it to the function called check number. This is still a function called call by value. We'll cover the other function call a little bit later when we cover pointers. So this number, variable number, is going to be copied into num, and then when we enter this block of code, num is going to be checked. Like in case I enter 10 as a value, 10 will be copied into num, and then here it'll be asking, when 10 is divided by 2, do we get the remainder 0? So yeah, if that is true, number is even, will be printed. But in case I pass 11, 11 will be copied into num, and then we are going to ask ourselves, that is 11, when 11 is divided by 2, do we get 0? No. If that is not true, we are going to skip this, and then we are going to go and print this. So let us try it out in this program and we see. So I have to save this as even odd 3, but you can save it with any name that you want. So I have 0 errors and 0 warnings. So let me run the program. So enter any number. Let me enter 10, just as I said. So it says the number is even, meaning that it's working perfectly. Then I run again, enter any number. Let me enter 15. So 15 is odd, just as the program is confirming. So basically, this is our second example of void functions. And of course, we can make also this program to start with a prototype. If we have to start with a prototype, that is, we define the function after the main function. I'll transfer, I cut it from there, and I'm going to paste it after the main function. And then I'm going to copy this function header and I'll put it there. So this is the function prototype. Terminate it. I compile and then I run. Remember, a function prototype is always terminated. So if I enter 25, the number is odd. So my program is still very accurate. And basically, what have we gone through this in this video? We have gone through another example for how to create void functions, that is non-value returning functions. So I hope you practice more with some more examples and also in the exercise that I'm going to give. I thank you for watching this video. Let us meet in the next one where we talk about function overloading. Thank you.